Hey guys, Jen here of Gadget Pilipinas. So, a lot of people right now are buying Mac Minis or even spare laptops just to run Openclaw as an always-on secretary. And honestly, I get the hype now. In my case, I wanted to see if I could do something similar without buying a separate machine. At the same time, keep my files and credentials safe. So, I took my new MacBook Pro M5, the 10-core model with 16 gigs of unified memory, and turned it into kind of AI command center using a virtual machine and Openclaw. Before we get into the setup, let me frame the problem here. Openclaw is, incredibly powerful because it can see and control a lot of things on your computer, and that's the point, right? It's like a digital secretary that can read messages, open files, talk to APIs, and orchestrate workflows for you. But that power comes with a huge security downside. If you run it directly on your main machine with full access, if you grant it, it can technically reach sensitive documents, personal photos, client contracts, financial spreadsheets, and even credentials if you're not careful with where they are stored. And because this thing is meant to be always online, that risk is continuous, not just when you're actively using it. So my challenge was simple. How do I enjoy the benefits of Openclaw as a second brain and also a secretary without giving it the keys to my entire digital life? Now the answer, at least for my setup, was to isolate it. Instead of installing Openclaw directly on my MacBook's main Mac OS, I used UTM to create a secure virtual Mac living inside my MacBook Pro. Now think of it as a Mac inside a Mac, like a Macception, a sandbox environment where the bot can live and do its thing, but any damage or access is contained within that box. Now, I did not invent this approach from scratch. I actually followed a tutorial that turned out to be one of the best guides available right now for this type of setup, especially for a newbie like me. It walks through how to install what used to be called Moltbot or CloudBot, now Openclaw, inside a virtual Mac OS instance using UTM. Now that video was my blueprint, and thanks to, of course, the original content creator for that, I adapted it for my own workflow on the M5 MacBook Pro, and that's what I'm actually going to walk you through at a level that hopefully both of us can understand. Now, first setup in the process is UTM. If you're not familiar with it, UTM is a virtualization tool for Mac OS. It's free, by the way. It lets you run other operating systems in a virtual machine. Now, on the M5 MacBook Pro, the performance overhead is surprisingly manageable because Apple Silicon is very efficient at handling these workloads. Now, what I did was set up a dedicated virtual Mac OS instance inside UTM. This virtual Mac is where Openclaw actually lives. It has its own virtual disk, its own environment. It doesn't automatically see the rest of my main system files, rather, unless I explicitly share something. There's actually a process there where you can assign a shared folder which the UTM or the virtual OS can have a look at using a read permission. Now, this isolation is the first layer of security. If Openclaw misbehaves or a skill is misconfigured, the worst it can do is affect the virtual machine, not my main Mac OS environment. If things go really bad, I can literally nuke the VM, wipe it, and rebuild. And my real files on the host Mac stay untouched. That's a much safer starting point than letting the agent run on your daily driver profile with all your personal data. Now, once the virtual Mac is up and running inside UTM, the next step is installing Openclaw itself. The beauty of the tutorial I followed is that it simplifies this into essentially a one-line command. In fact, if you go to Openclaw, it's actually just a one line that you copy and paste. I find it easier to do it on a Mac rather than doing it on Windows. I had so much trouble in doing it on Windows, installing Git, installing NPM, and all that. But on Mac, it's very easy. That particular line of code, you drop into the terminal inside the virtual machine, paste that one command, and it pulls down everything needed to get Openclaw running. For non-technical users, like myself, that's a huge win because it removes a lot of the friction of dealing with multiple dependencies and configurations. Now, for power users, like some of you there, it just saves a lot of time. You can still tweak things later, but the base install is pretty quick and also painless. Now, the second major piece of this puzzle is credentials and external access. You don't want Openclaw to directly hold your master passwords, your full API keys to everything, or unrestricted OAuth tokens. So instead of letting the bot talk directly to all my services, I routed access through my Zapier's MCP setup. The idea here is that Zapier becomes the broker. It holds the credentials and handles the connections to apps, while the bot only sees what I expose through a defined protocol and a specific MCP endpoint. Now, this adds a second layer of security and control. I get to decide which accounts and actions are visible inside the Zapier MCP environment. If I only want the bot to access my, for example, Notion workspace or a specific Gmail account, for example, I can scope it that way. If I want to revoke access later, I can do it in Zapier. I can do everything in Zapier. The bot is no longer sitting on my machine with unfiltered access to all my cookies and tokens. Instead, it's talking to a gateway that I can easily inspect, limit, or even shut down. Now, to connect Openclaw inside the virtual machine to that Zapier MCP endpoint, I set up a single skill called MC Porter. MC Porter's job is simple but powerful. It lets me plug in the MCP URL from Zapier and make that functionality available to that bot. Now think of this skill, or the MC Porter, as a controlled doorway. On one side of the door is Openclaw inside the Sandbox VM. On the other side is Zapier MCP, which has access to specific apps and credentials that I decided to grant. The bot doesn't see everything. It sees only what comes through that door. So you end up with this architecture. The MacBook Pro M5 is the physical host. Inside it, UTM runs a virtual Mac. Inside that virtual Mac, Openclaw is installed with a simple command. Openclaw then talks out to Zapier MCP through MC Porter skill, and Zapier has the actual connections to your online services. At no point do you need to dump all your credentials or raw credentials into some random config file living alongside the bot on your main system. For communication, now how do I talk to my bot? Now I can do it actually through the TUI, or I can do it via the browser, but of course I wish to be able to communicate with my bot like outside of the confines of the studio. I can do it via Telegram. I chose it as my main interface with the bot. Now once Openclaw is running and plugged into MC Porter, you can set up Telegram as a front end so that the bot feels like a contact you can always message. This is where it truly becomes a second brain and also as a secretary. I can be on my phone, send a message to the Telegram bot, and it will process the request inside the virtual machine using the skills and also the limited access I gave it via Zapier. It's natural, it's chat-based, and it works even I'm not sitting in front of my MacBook. Of course, there's one catch here because everything is running in a virtual machine on my MacBook Pro. The bot is only alive when the machine is turned on, connected, and online. This is not a 24/7 plugged into the wall dedicated server setup. And that's intentional. I don't want to keep this laptop on power all the time because battery health matters for me. So this is more of a semi-always-on secretary that is active when I'm working rather than a permanent cloud agent. Now this is the reason why a lot of people are actually buying Mac Minis, because that setup with the Mac Mini can be an always-on setup. That way you'll be able to easily communicate with your bot via Telegram if it's connected to your Openclaw, and it won't have any issues in terms of battery because that one is connected to the outlet all the time. And that leads, again, to an interesting realization. This exact setup is fully replicable on a dedicated Mac Mini or any other computer you want to use as an AI box. The beauty of doing it this way is that everything is modular. UTM plus virtual Mac, Openclaw installation, MC Porter, Zapier MCP, Telegram interface. You can lift that entire stack and drop it onto a Mac Mini with an Apple Silicon chip, or even another machine if you want to, and you'd have a 24/7 AI secretary that's still sandboxed and controlled. Now let's talk about the M5 chip itself, because this is where the high-level appreciation comes in. One of the reasons people gravitate toward the latest Macs, especially the new Apple Silicon generation like the M series chips, is their built-in neural and AI capabilities. These chips are designed not just for raw CPU performance, but for efficient machine learning and parallel workloads. When you stack a virtual machine, an AI agent framework, and multiple integrations on top of that, the M5 still feels smooth and, of course, responsive. In my testing, the M5 handles the virtual machine plus Openclaw plus the usual content creator workload. You have the browser, editing tools, communication apps without choking. That's important because it shows that modern Apple Silicon laptops are capable of being both your daily driver and your AI experimentation platform. You don't need a big, noisy server or a rack in your house to get real, practical value out of AI agents. A single, well-configured laptop with a smart architecture can go a long way. Now, I know I can do more, but I haven't tried using a local LLM as model for the Openclaw. That's something I'd like to try out in the future. There are also other ways for you to be able to experiment Openclaw safely. For example, getting a VPS dedicated for that, or even connecting it via Cloudflare Worker. That's actually another way to be able to experiment using Openclaw, and it's very, very exciting. And this is where the many possibilities with AI part really starts to open up. Once you have this secure modular setup, you can start layering more skills on top of MC Porter. Today, it might just be access to some productivity tools. Tomorrow, it could be project management, content drafting, scheduling, or even basic automation for your business workflows. Every new Zapier integration of MCP, compatible tool you plug in because another capability your AI secretary can use without you having to change the core architecture. Now imagine this in a content creator's workflow. You could have Openclaw monitoring specific inboxes for brand emails, drafting responses based on your templates, logging opportunities into Notion, and generating outlines for videos. All from that sandbox virtual machine. Or, as a business owner, you could let it summarize daily reports, organize tasks for your team, and send you a digest on Telegram at the end of the day. All of that is possible with the same building blocks I used here. Now, the key takeaway is this: modern Macs with chips like M5 aren't just fast laptops, they're capable AI platforms. When you combine their performance and efficiency with a thoughtful, security-first architecture, virtual machines for isolation, MCP for credential protocol, a single skill like MC Porter as the gateway, and a friendly front end like Telegram, you get something that feels like science fiction, but is already practical today. So, if you're curious about Openclaw but worried about security, this approach might be the middle ground you're looking for. You can use your MacBook Pro M5 at that as the testbed, run a virtual Mac in UTM, install Openclaw with that one-line command, route all your external access through Zapier MCP, use MC Porter as your controlled bridge, talk to it via Telegram, and once you're comfortable, you can decide whether to keep it on your laptop or graduate the exact same setup to a dedicated Mac Mini or another machine or VPS as your always-on AI secretary. Now, that is how I turned my M5 MacBook Pro into a secure AI-powered second brain, and why I think the latest Apple Silicon devices are such exciting platforms for this new wave of AI agents. That's it for my video today. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. This little experiment is made possible because I've got the MacBook Pro M5, and this is such a very powerful device to begin with. And I'm looking forward to more things in the future, and hope you join with me as I go through all this as a beginner. This has been Gian. See you in the next video.